Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. well, it's your girl, Miss Honey, here with another review for Queen Sugar. This is season 5, episode 8. I think it's like June 3rd or something like that. Y'all know I don't like the way they doing these titles and things. But I think it's like June 3rd or something like that. Shout out to all my honeybees who told me who was on the phone. I didn't know who was on the phone. All I saw was light-skinnedness. Okay? And it could have been anybody, especially when you're talking about light-skinnedness, right? But it was Davis. Also, I personally thought that Charlie was having an anxiety attack. I mean, who wouldn't with everything that's going on in this world, right? Um, Now if I had seen her like laying down and shallow breath, I would have automatically thought about COVID, but I didn't originally think that it was COVID because she was so um adamant about safety procedures, right? Like, of all people to get COVID, Charlie. Weird. Meanwhile, Micah's healthy as a horse or asymptomatic one. Anyway, y'all know he down in Minneapolis, but we gonna talk about it. Listen, let's do Charlie first. No. Let's do Nova first. Is it me or is Nova spinning her wheels? What do y'all think? It just feels like Nova is stuck in the mud. I mean, I get it. We're quarantining. I understand that. I completely understand quarantining, right? But she just don't seem to be making movements, like real strides in her own life. And listen, one thing that we have all garnered from being in quarantine, being in this whole panacea, you know, is that it gives you time for self-reflection. It slowed us down a little bit, right? And we had to look at things that are going on with ourselves, with our lives, with our homes, with our children, our spouses. Like, everything became, condensed into these small bubbles, and um you're face to face with stuff, right? But I don't know. For me, Nova seemed very fulfilled in other seasons, and maybe that's because she was going out and she was incorporating all of these external characters into her own situation. Um, busy girl. She had a lot going on now with the panacea and everything. Um, Nova seemed kind of lame. Is it me? Is it me? Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I don't. Y'all know I be needing y'all help. Y'all know I don't come in this thing with all sense ain't in one head. Is it me or is Nova kind of lame now? Is it me or is she whack? Is it me that thinks she whack? Like, I just am I the only one? Yeah, Nova gives me whackness. And then there's all of these conversations that are I guess deep in a way, but also seem kind of wandering. They seem kind of like incomplete thoughts at times. For instance, we get to see Nova at home, and I mean, she is doing some things around her house. She's talking to Aunt Vi, and Aunt Vi sharing what's going on with her. And she asks Nova about, her man. And have y'all talked about getting married? Because they was talking about Ralph Angel being happy, happily married, to Darla. And she said, "Oh yeah, there's been conversation of it. This Nova." And Aunt Vi's like, "Well, if a man's, bringing it up, if he bringing it up, then he's gonna ask you." And it's like Nova's not sure if that's something that she wants to do. Um. Anyway, so she gets off the phone with Aunt Vi, and later on she's sitting there, and two of the most beautiful mustard, I don't know, I can't explain, like yellow greenish chairs, and they've got blue and white brocade pillows. And it was absolutely gorgeous. Like, I'm obsessed with those chairs now. Like, I want those chairs. How can I get those chairs, right? Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And I always notice the beautiful textures and colors that are always abounding in all of our Queen Sugar episodes. Those chairs were everything. She's sitting there, she's reading. In comes Calvin. He's got his aviator shades on, and her and Calvin basically have the same hairstyle, except her hair is curly and he got his mohawk slick straight back. And y'all know he handsome. He handsome. Ain't nobody taking that from him. He is definitely handsome. And they give a kiss and a hug, and she want him to go wash his hands. No, whatever he had on his hands, you got it on you now, sis. He's supposed to wash his hands before y'all do all that. But I digress. You know what I mean? Um, and he sits down and she says, I missed you. I got here and you weren't here, and I kind of panicked a little bit. And he was like, "Oh, that's a good thing, because woo da woo da woo." And no sooner did he sit down, she said, "We need to talk about the thing we discussed at the farm." I was like, "What is going on with these borderline women? Y'all do not know how to give y'all man a minute." Now, he done just come in the door from driving on the road, and you want to talk about the fact that he brought up marriage at the farm. One, y'all supposed to be making sweet, sweet monkey love. I guess I can't say monkey no more, but you know what I'm saying. Y'all supposed to be making sweet, sweet magic. Okay, he just got off the road. You're missing your man. Like, what is we doing? I mean, you supposed to be bringing his energy down. You not supposed to be getting all involved in all this stuff. I don't know. Is it me, or does Nova seem so needy? She seems weakened. Is it me? And he was like, "Oh, he got into, you want to talk about the marriage?" And she looks over all eager, like, "You did mean it, didn't you?" I was like, "What is going on with you, Nova?" Now, I'm not saying who Nova was in her past relationships was great. She was definitely headstrong. Okay, we know that. And she was controlling. We know that as well. And she did run people who cared about her and only wanted the best for her off. Got it. Understand that. I like to see a little bit more of a vulnerable Nova, but what I'm getting now is like this feeling that what she's looking for it in Calvin, and I don't know necessarily if that's if if he's gonna be able to deliver. I mean, she looks at him like, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" Ugh. Anyway, He done got down on one knee next to her, and she's there, and she's bated breath, and he was like, "You want to get married? You want to be a partner? You want to be Stedman and Oprah?" She laughed a little bit, more like Christy and John, because not black people. I was like, "But you are black." I didn't understand it. Anyway, ain't John legend black? So I digress. Um, and he got down and said, "Well, do you want to get married? Is this what you want to do?" I was like, oh, I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't think we came to a conclusion. Next time we saw Nova was in the bed with her man laying on his hairy chest, and she done got up scantily clad and put on her robe, and she go in there to her office, and she looking at her article that she has written, Traveling While Black. And then she gets ready to go and send it on off, and everything, and send off the email. And she starts looking through the the internet news, and then just one story after another, same thing. I have to decompress. If y'all listen to my devotional this morning, y'all know I'm not watching the Chauvin trial, but I've been getting the highlights, and the highlights have been upsetting me. So I've just got to pull back, period. I've got to pull back because it is sucking the humanity out of me. um and I'm not I'm not doing well with a lot of stuff that I'm seeing. Anyway, so she's looking at it one after another, and I don't know if it's coming to her, you know, I won't say it's coming to her because Nova's always known. I don't know. I don't know what seeing these stories and impact is it just firing her up to do another story? Or does she realize that it is going to be more than difficult to balance things with Calvin, especially if Calvin has not come to a place where um, he feels even slightly remotely accountable or privileged. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's enough for Calvin to just be present for Nova. I really don't. I think he has to meet Nova on a way deeper empathetic level in order for him to be acceptable in her life. And that's just how I feel about it. But anyway, that's Nova. So, Charlie's got COVID, y'all. Charlie's got COVID. Now, like I said, I didn't know who she had called, but Davis come around there. He calling the phone and ramming on the door. And finally he had to bust the window and get in there and get Charlie. And Charlie said, "Please put a mask on. I think I have COVID." She on the sofa stretched out there. And um he puts his mask on, and he calls the doctor, and he gets her flipped over on her belly, so she won't aspirate. And I mean, she is giving us shallow breathing. Uh the actress that plays Charlie did a great job. She did a great job, like, conveying it over. When she lay there for a minute just looking off into space, I was like, "Don't take my Charlie, Lord. Don't do it, Lord, please." But finally she blinked. I was like, "Oh, Charlie, I'm so fragile right now. Please don't do this. Please, Lord. No, don't take my Charlie." Anywho, um, yeah, so he called a doctor, and he gave her all the what for. I mean, she was weak as a little baby. Like, she just could not do anything. Davis done took her upstairs, and He done sat by a bedside child while she marinate and then recuperate and then rejuvenate. And all the while, Charlie's been having these old flashback type thoughts and stuff. And Davis does too. Davis feels a type of way about how he treated Charlie. I think he is feeling, regretful about how he did her. And men like to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want you to need them. Not for anything like lunch or dinner. But you know what I'm saying? Especially if you superwoman and you don't really ask a lot of them, that's like a personal affront to a man. I'm not saying it, it could bother a man. That's all I'm saying. And men want you to need them. They want you to ask them to open the jars and get stuff off the high shelf and bring in some bags from the car. They want you to, what I'm saying, oh, would you kiss it? Make it better, daddy. They want you to be that way. And so it's making him reflect and look at her as, an individual who always needed him. She just always felt the need to exude this strength for whatever reason. But seeing her in this fragile state is making him feel a type of way. Meanwhile, Charlie's having her own thoughts and visions and stuff about things that are going on, things that are happening, that type of thing. Finally, we get to see where she kind of recuperates a little bit and rejuvenates and sits up in the bed, and Davis is laying there asleep. Now, he done put the mask away because she done had a coughing fit, and he done had to run and get her some water, and she was like, I'm coughing on you. When in the minute he goes, you okay? And let me get you some water. I was like, dude, you got COVID. You got COVID. Oh, you got it. All that coughing, you walk right into the sputum, dude. You walk right into a fog of COVID. Ooh, my nerves was bad. I was like, please put a mask on. Why doesn't he have gloves on? You guys, I am a stickler, right? Anywho, so he was like, what's gonna be is gonna be. I was like, Davis, I couldn't stand you. Season 1, 2, and 3. But you coming through. You coming through. He just seemed like he's matured a little bit. And this is why it's good to cut men off, and even women, and to cut people off, period, and get them space. Especially when they showing you in the moment by their actions that they don't appreciate you. You're depriving yourself of being treated like you're supposed to be treated, and you're depriving them of growth, okay? You the thing that they want the most, take it on away. If they want it back, and if it's meant to be, they'll work towards it. You know what I mean? They'll get themselves together. They'll get mature. And even if y'all don't never get back together, at least the next person that get them won't get a broken vessel. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anywho, so they laugh and kid a little bit, and he gave her the nap challenge. Charlie is very competitive. He just really shows that he's there for her. And he doesn't let her run him off, with her superwoman cape. And I thought he referenced the fact that he had COVID or something like that. It seemed like he said, I know, when she was talking about how sick she was, he was like, well, I know what it's like. Or something like that. Y'all correct me down below. Anywho, that's them. Let's talk about Aunt Vi. Now, listen. Aunt Vi been looking real crazy over these last few episodes. She been looking real crazy. She been looking a little weather beaten too. And I have to say she kind of been looking like Hollywood's mama. She looked like her and Prosper. I ain't trying to be mean. I ain't trying to be mean. I'm just saying. She been looking a little weather beaten. Like her and Prosper supposed to be together instead of her and Hollywood. Now you get you a young man like that, you can't be walking around with your hair all unkempt like that and them wiry grays sticking out every which kind of way. Now I hadn't really enjoyed that about Aunt Vi. Um, but like I said, she talked to Nova on the phone. She getting her whole diner kitted out with all the signs that it need about voting and wearing your mask and all of that stuff. Every time you go into a store, you know that the front door be covered in all that signage and stuff that people don't even pay attention to. But them Biden Harris signs was big, and it was good to see. Well, she get home and they all in the reading room and all reading, and it I don't know, it did my heart good because that's kind of how I grew up. It wasn't a lot of TV in my house growing up. We only had one TV, and that was in the living room, and then my mama would turn it off during the day if we was there. You know what I'm saying? And at a certain time when her soap opera came on, she would turn it on and then she would turn it off and go cook, and stuff like that. But it wasn't just like constantly on. Like my TV's on now, except the volume is down. Like my TV is always is on. Always on. I don't know. It's something about living by myself. I need my TV. I need my TV to be playing in the background because if not, I will hear every single solitary thing. But I digress. Anyway, they was all sitting there reading. That's how we used to do. We had a screened in front porch, and it had like a little sofa on it and some chairs, rocking chairs. And my daddy would read the paper, and my mama would be reading, a periodical of some sort. And then we would go to the library, baby, and you could check out. I can't remember the number of books. Like it was a maximum number of books you can check out. It was something like 7 or 10, something like that. And we would have a stack of books, baby. And them books, we would go through them one by one by one by one. Avid readers. And then it'd be somebody playing like a little board game. We were always gathering and like reading or playing games. It wasn't TV and certainly wasn't cell phones, right? So that's kind of what that scene reminded me of. And so, Aunt Vi get a call from Darla. And Darla is letting her know what Darlene, her mama, has been up to. And Aunt Vi ain't having it. She is not having it. So basically what's happening is that Darlene done went behind Darla's back, Darla and Ralph Angel's back, and got Blue in that school in DC. It was a long, drawn out way to get cussed out. You know how you go ask somebody why they did something and they just go around and around the mulberry bush, and like, it by the time they get done, the story got so many legs and it's so intricate. When she went on and on about he's a black boy and he's from a rural town, I was just like, what are you doing? Like, how did you get Blue's paperwork? How did you get his shot records? How did you get his test results? Like, where did you get all that stuff from? Darla, you had to send this to your mama. Did you send her all Blue's paperwork just so she could be happy for Blue that he's a smart kid, or what? How did your mama get all this stuff to send to these people? How was she able to get your baby into this school and you not know nothing about it? How is that possible? That they don't want to talk to the parents. But whatever, we're not going to pick at that scab. We're not going to do it. Anywho, she didn't call around there because she upset. Now, Ralph Angel, he want Blue to go. He kind of partially want Blue to go because he feel like if Blue go up there, he going to be safe. A black man ain't safe nowhere. I mean, It's I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say bad trouble can pop off anywhere. It can pop off anywhere. Long as his skin is black, okay, blackish, okay, and that hair got a little kink to it, they get a slight idea that he's something other than Caucasian. It could go down. It don't matter where he is. He could be standing on the Capitol steps and get mollywop. But it's this is something that's bothering Ralph Angel. He feels like being down like in the deep south like that um is just gonna be, he's not gonna be able to protect Blue. Anyway, Darla don't want him to go. And she pissed off at her mama. So she done went around there and called uh Vi and want Vi help. Now, this was her mistake because she should have called her mama and told her mama what she told Vi. That she didn't want him to go. Well, she kind of talked to her mama about it, but she should have been very definitive. But when she brought Vi in, Vi said, don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. She not taking our baby from this family. Which I'm not even going to say that that's not what I would have done. If my sister had called me and said, I'm thinking about sending my nephew or my niece up for the summer, no. I think Blue is too young to me. To me, Blue is too young to be away from his family. That's just my opinion. Okay, this separate. But anyway, ain't Vi, she ain't taking him. I'll call your mama and talk to her, and I'll call Ralph Angel and talk to him. He just talking. And then, Prosper and Hollywood looking at each other like they ain't getting in there because they see Ain't Vi mean business. Ain't Vi done got up from there, and she's like, over my dead body. They are not taking this baby. Later on, we see where she talking to Darlene on the FaceTime. And baby, when I tell you she read Darlene up one side and down the other, boo. What you don't want to do is scrap with Ain't Vi, okay? Because Ain't Vi got barbed wire on her tongue, baby. And every time she licked out, she scratched. It scratched her and scratched her, right? And finally, Darlene was like, goodbye, Vi. I was like, you better get off this phone before she come through this phone and be on top of your head, baby. Just digging your eyes out. Oh, and when she hung up, Ain't Vi said, oh no, you will not hang up on me. And Hollywood walked in and said, Vi, calm down. Like, what's going on? Like, you're so invested in this. Why they are not taking my baby nowhere over my dead body. And I mean it. He was like, oh, and she stormed out. I was like, ooh, Vi, what is going on with you, girl? You ain't got COVID, are you? Is anger one of the symptoms? Is she constipated? Vi is words up. But listen, if Ain't Vi get reinvested in Blue like she was when the show, the series initially started, she was raising Blue. Her and Papa Bordelon, okay? And it took a lot for them to kind of wean Vi off because I think she was considering Blue like her and Hollywood's child, right? When they first came on, they was always out in the front yard and playing. Like, it was like a little family. And so Darla getting her reinvested in this situation, it does give Aunt Vi something to do, but at the same time, she needs to stay divested from that. She doesn't need to be reinvested in every intricate deal detail of what's going on. I agree with Charlie when she told Davis that everybody's got their stuff going on, and she wanted to keep that COVID, the fact that she had COVID between the two of them, because people call you constantly. They asking you how you doing constantly. And sometimes when you're just trying to get your mind off of what you got going on, and when you done told people, they keep asking you about it. And this situation is very similar. um this is something for her and Ralph Angel to work through, and she didn't need to bring Aunt Vi in that. Well, I guess Aunt Vi felt bad about the fact that she had been cutting the food and acting off her meds round there with Hollywood, and she done went round there and made him a fantastic feast. And it looked like she made him all his favorites, but she cooked it the way his mama would cook it. It was a nice setup, and Aunt Vi was so pulled together. She still had that salt and pepper hair that was graying right here in the front and on the sides, but it was coiffed. It was combed and it was shaped, and it was nice, and beautiful makeup and some beautiful clothes on. And it was a nice moment for her in Hollywood. And Hollywood say he fine. And Ava say, no, you haven't been fine, but you're gonna be fine. And she talked about how we all are coming to grips with what's going on with us in our hearts and our minds and our spirits. And I 100% agree. And it was like just the thing that they both kind of needed to bring each other back to each other, to come back together and realize what's really important for them as a couple and what's important for them as their own nucleus, right? And so later on, um, Hollywood is FaceTiming with Raw, and they having drinks. And it wasn't no deep, heavy conversation per se. It was all real happy go lucky. They was drinking aged bourbon and laughing and talking like they normally do, but they used to do it in the yard. He was talking about the spot, and I was like, well, and I'm thinking it probably about now. Y'all could gather at the spot. Everybody just got to wear their mask. But I got to think about where they were then. In June, we were still, some states were still quarantining. A lot of people were still quarantining. And so it was a good moment. And it was good to see them talking again, because they need that camaraderie. Like, you know what I'm saying? To lift themselves up. And they was talking about how they women is being a little right. We love them, but dude, bruh, bruh. So Hollywood in the bed doing a little reading. Ain't about come on in there, and she putting her lotion on the feet, in her hands, and Hollywood say he thinking about opening up the uh opening up the spot, but doing it on Zoom. Everybody grab their drinks and grab their cell phone, and they'll do it from, wherever they are. And still you can come together and support one another and have that camaraderie. And Aunt Vi thought it was a good idea. And so he got to rubbing that lotion on her feet. I was like, oh, child, if I could get somebody to do the center of my back. Ooh, it's such a struggle being single. I'm telling you. If I could just get somebody to get down right in the center part of my back, it's so dry. It's dry desert back there. If I can just get somebody right there and get in there and get me that lotion. But I digress. He done lotion her feet and all that stuff up, and he was like, um, he brought up how had been acting earlier that day. And he said, well, maybe when you get ready, you'll be able to tell me why you acted the way you acted today. Baby, it was like something switched in vibe. Baby, she snatched that foot. And it was like she snatched that foot, but it was in this, I don't say, it was in this like split personality kind of way. Like she snatched it, but at the same time, when she snatched it, she just, she contained it. Right? So it was like, it's kind of like tripping somebody up and be like, oh, you okay? You all right? You okay? You got to be careful. Knowing you tripped them up, right? They tripped you up. And it was kind of like that. When she snatched that foot, I was like, oh, Vi, you're scaring us. And just like that, she dropped it. And she was like, I don't know. She just redirected him. And then when he turned around and read the book again, she popped his head. You know, it was kind of playful, but all at the same time, when she snatched that foot, baby, I was like, the devil got Vi. Is Vi constipated? Like, what is going on? Y'all know when y'all children be acting out, sometimes they constipated. It's just like with seniors. They can't sleep. They squirrely. They sleeping with their butt. Like all types of little stuff. Anger. And not being able to keep food down. Not hungry. Constipated. Constipated. But a sour disposition. Constipation. Check the poo first, children. Anywho, ooh, that scared me a little bit. Anyway, uh, let's talk about Ralph Angel and Darla. First of all, Blue done woke up with nightmares. Now, of course, he's gonna have nightmares because, you know, little boys grow up wanting to be firemen and policemen and, you know, captains, you know, sailboat captains and pilots, you know, all types of stuff, or dump truck drivers, you know. And so to see you one of the professions that you looked up to as a hero, to know that because of your skin color that person may or may not consider, we don't know, and not knowing when you gonna get one of them rotten eggs is a part of their anxiety. Anyway, he's scared, but he goes to get up and run to go in there with mommy and daddy. And as soon as he cracked that door and looked out there, he thought, no, I got to deal with this on my own. He was a big boy. He was a big boy about it. He goes and get his squishy pillow, and he lays back down and um, tucks himself up under the cover. And I felt so bad for him. I felt so bad for him because here begins this introspection. You know what I'm saying? In case you can't tell, I've always been a thinker. And as a child, I definitely had a lot of thoughts. I had a lot of questions. I had things that um, I wanted answers to. A lot of times I got those answers from reading, because I learned early on that going to my parents about a lot of stuff, one, you might get poo-pooed. And two, um, people tell you to suck it up, deal with it, you know. Or three, people might get overly concerned for you. And so when they get too concerned, then they want to clamp down on you. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep their eye on you, and they might try to coddle you a little bit. So you kind of learn how to keep it to yourself. You kind of learn what stuff to discuss and not to discuss. I think Blue didn't want to worry his parents. I think he was trying to be a big boy and be strong. you know, and suck it up. But I think he needs to have those conversations. He needs to feel free and open to say what his fears are and what his concerns are, because releasing that valve, uh releases the pressure, releases the anxiety off of you. And this anxiety situation, it can get nestled down in your spirit in weird ways. It could become an eating disorder. It can become um, a closeted anger issue, where you seem like you fine, and then one day somebody drops something, it sounds just like a gunshot, and you lose it. A car backfire, somebody walk up on you wrong, and you end up throwing them hard to the ground. You cuss your boss out. You know what I'm saying? It shows up. They fighting in school. His schoolwork fall off. He start wetting the bed. It's a lot of different ways that this anxiety can develop in him. And so he needs to talk with someone, whether it's his parents or not. And that's my whole thing. Anyway, Darla did talk to her mama. She was very livid with her mom about going behind her back. Again, I'm not sure how your mama got all that accomplished, Darla. And that's your baby. And she way up yonder. You know what I'm saying? How she get all your baby paperwork? Like, he's got a full scholarship and a full ride. I don't trust that. I don't trust none of that. I don't trust none of that. Any of it. And you ain't finna send my baby nowhere to no predominantly white school. You not finna do that. Mm-mm. He's not strong enough to fight nobody off, really, especially from an adult perspective. He don't get to come home every night and talk with the people he love about what happened with his day. And you don't get to look at him. Dollar his mama. She see what's in his underwear. She see if he hiding stuff in his bedroom. She washing his clothes. She cleaning his bedroom. All of that stuff. You learn a lot about your child. Keeping up after them, picking up after them, washing their laundry. No, it's too much stuff going on. It's too much stuff going on. Now coming home to your mama every day. That's one thing. And it's all right. But where your daddy at? We ain't even see. Anyway, I would have too many questions. I wouldn't have had to go to Aunt Val because I would have got my mama together about what was going on. Why would you go and do all of that? Anyway, her and Ralph Angel washing dishes, and she's definitive. And he knows not to argue with her because she is this is one of the things that she's not unsure about. She ain't lost in the wind about this. About this, she's sure that he ain't going nowhere. Her baby ain't going nowhere out of her sight. And I can't disagree. I cannot disagree. There's too many predators out here in this world. Um, and it don't even have to be something sexual. It's a lot of cultish behavior out here too. It's a lot of indoctrination going on out here too. We wrestle not, okay? Come on now, against flesh and blood, okay? We wrestle against principalities. Okay? You got to be able to put your eye on your baby, okay? And feel that energy. What's going on with them? Can't do all that over Zoom. Cannot be done. Now, he get a little bit older, 14, 15, that type of thing. Maybe. Maybe. No. I mean, you could put him in college prep classes if that's what you wanted to do. You could put him in college prep classes if you wanted to challenge him in that way. I mean, I know he's just a small child, but you could put him in advanced studies. Um, you could send him to tutorial. Y'all could drive him a couple of times a week into the city to take advanced tutoring. Like, Anyway, Ralph Angel didn't argue with her. And in one of the strangest scenes, we see where Ralph Angel, this is the end of the episode, Ralph Angel, Darla, and Blue are playing Jenga. My family love Jenga. Love Jenga. How you play competitive Jenga? Okay? How do you play competitive Jenga? We gets it done. All right? Okay? What? What? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Take that. Take that. Get it. Anyway, they playing like that. You know, they having a good time. And he done knocked the Jenga board over and goes into the kitchen. He making popcorn. It was like the weirdest, most awkward finishing scene. It was no dialogue practically. He puts the popcorn in the microwave. He's going to go pour this hot lemonade into a cup. He pretends to pour it in the cup. The cup is still empty. And he gets the other cup and he's going to pour it. Now he's gone over to the table and picked the bowl up that he gonna put the popcorn in. They got letters there, and one of the letters is the acceptance letter for Blue. I was like, "How's Way? They haven't even met you, child. They haven't even met Blue. They haven't even sat down with Blue. Like this is it's nonsensical. We don't know enough to co-sign on this bull crap. That's all I'm saying." And he looks at the letter and then puts it away, and then, like I said, pours an imaginary cup of hot lemonade, and then a second imaginary cup of hot lemonade, and she walks in to give him a old around the back hug. I was like, oh, nuzzle in, darling, nuzzle in. Oh, get up in there. Oh. And ooh, child. Oh. Anywho, so anywho, you know, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep him here, and we're gonna be able to do this, and we're gonna, you know, this is the best place for him, and we can help him out here, and we can do this, yada yada yada." Ralph Angel still does not seem like he's sold, but Darla seems very sure. Now the episode ends with that, and we see where next week Blue is going to discover that he's been accepted to a school. So I'd be interested in seeing if he wants to go. Um, the way he asked about it, I wouldn't be surprised. Micah doesn't know that his mom has COVID. No one does except Davis. So she's got pictures of him that he sent her on the phone where, you know, he out there with the fist pump of righteousness and doing his thing, and they talking about how happy he is. So maybe Blue is gonna be in that way too. Maybe he's gonna feel brave and he's gonna want to go off and do this thing. um I don't know. It's supposed to be more ongoing next week, and I think they're leaning towards letting him go up there. And maybe it's going to be one of those things where Blue's going to return and he's going to be like 14 or something. You know how Michael went away and came back and I'm 20 now. I'm 20 now. I'm 20 now. I was like, you was just 17 last season. Okay. And maybe that's what's going to happen because it's going to get really really rough between Ralph Angel and Darla and Ain't Vi. But y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all please put it down below. How did y'all feel about this episode? Didn't you think that end scene was weird? And do you think that Nova has become slightly whack? Is it me? And do y'all think Davis and Charlie gonna get back together? I thought she was gonna say, get on up here in the bed and you can lay down in the bed with me, but I was like, oh yeah, it is COVID though. Yeah. And what y'all think going on with Ain't Vi? It's more than constipation. We know that. I don't know. Maybe Ain't Vi need to get her a foster child or something like that. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put it down below. And until next time, honeybees, mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll holla.